They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hey ladies and gents, what is up? Welcome to a bit of a chilled video guide today. We're going to be talking about how to get from level 60 to level 65 as fast as humanly possible. Now I actually managed to kind of snag the world first level 65 about a week back when the expansion launched, and since then, I've quickly leveled also my rogue and warrior, but kind of the fastest runtime I've had was on my cleric, which was about 4 hours and 25 minutes. I did make a few mistakes and cock-ups, so I reckon this can easily be done in like 4 hours if you are kind of familiar with the quests, but if you're not, I would probably say you're looking about 6 hours if you do stuff correctly. You keep focused and you have a decent pace of pulling mobs. Now, to kind of get there in that time, what you're probably going to need is experience boost. Now you can get 40% from patron, and then an additional 160% via the store boosts, and then transcendent experience vials. I would say they are very, very worthwhile for leveling in Nightmare Tide, as they will make your leveling experience so much easier. But basically, if you don't have experience vials, this guy's going to be pretty useless to you anyway, because how to get from 60 to 65 fast is essentially do all of the story quest and all of the carnage quest in all of the zones. That is pretty much it. Do absolutely everything and you will hit that level cap. There isn't really a super elite route, because in order to get from 60 to 65 without boost, you need to do everything. So this is just a quick and easy guide on how to do it with experience boosts, which is what a lot of people like to invest in, because they don't like the leveling time and whatnot. So yeah, anyway, that's what today's video is about. So a bit of a word to the wise and a bit of a pro tip, right? So in terms of mob difficulty, Gabora Reef mobs are very, very easy. Draumheim mobs are slightly harder, and Tarkan Glacier mobs are very, very hard. Also, the quests in Tarkan Glacier are very, very long. So basically, what you should come away from with this guide is you really do want to bleed out the quest in Gabora Reef and Draumheim, and really want to avoid going to Tarkan Glacier for questing. I haven't done any quests there on live on any of my characters, just because the mobs have a lot more health, they hit a lot harder, the quest lines are just long, so it is a very clunky zone that will kind of slow down your leveling speed by quite a bit. We have kind of fed this back, so it might change, but for now, literally, the pro tactic is bleed out Gabora Reef and bleed out Draumheim, and about kind of 50% of the way through Draumheim, you'll probably reach max level, and that's what's happened to kind of most of my characters. So yeah, it's been pretty damn sweet. So when you start off in Gaboru, you kind of, work your way along the Luminous Passage, sort of through this watery zone here, then down to the Agarian Well. So you kind of go in an anti-clockwise direction around the zone as a term of, a general flow. So kind of just be prepared. You got all the story quests to do. You go up to Gas Station, then finally finishing Gale Fortress. Once you're done there, you want to hop down to Draumheim, and then you'll kind of pass over in here. There'll be tons and tons of quests to do around this zone, and then you can go to Gemini Bluffs, do a ton of quests to the northern area of Draumheim, and then work your way into the city center and do all the quests surrounding the city. The city can be quite difficult to navigate, right? But if you go to any one of the portculums that isn't in the center of the city, let me just show you a bit of a pro tip for navigating Draumheim. So literally, if I port to, let's say, Tribulation Square, which is probably the first portculum you'll discover when you're entering the Draumheim city. So let's just enter there. You'll notice next to every Porticulum Master or Porticulum Master, there is a bulbous bouncer. Now, if you literally jump onto this, what's going to happen is you're going to be skyrocketed into the air on this kind of additional layer of water above Draumheim, and then you can literally just go to wherever you want in the city, because as you can see, guys, this place is an absolute labyrinth. So yeah, just kind of like go to wherever you need to go, and then stop your character dead on, and then drop down. around. So let's say if I want to go, let's say here, because I know there is actually one of the quests there, and that's quite a bit of a difficult area to get to. So let's say I've got a quest there, you know, I can just quickly fly over, either on my shark mount or just by manually swimming. Once I am at kind of my waypoint, all I do is literally drop down out of the sky, and boom, there is no falling damage at all. So that is a wonderful way to, you know, quickly navigate throughout Draumheim, and a bit of a pro tip that I found. Now, for additional Carnage quest and side story quest, I actually have a bit of a rule. Now, for Carnage quest, if the Carnage quest takes, if I feel like I can do it in under a minute and a half, then I will do it. If it's going to take longer than that, then I will just not bother and I will skip it. And that seems to work fairly well in regards to keeping up a leveling pace. You know, you want to quickly scout around the area, make sure there are enough Carnage quests to do, and, you know, you can quickly pull up and round up and AoE the various mobs that you might be fighting. Now, if we pop back to the Plane of Water, there are also additional quests that you can pick up, like there are just literally single quests and there are daily quests. Now, I kind of have a similar rule to those for single quests, like ones that will, you have some really easy single quests. Literally, some of them will be like hug a scarecrow or drink this elixir. So some of them can literally take 10 seconds. Boom, you've got a fat stack of like 150k XP. With the vials, that's like 500,000 XP just in like 10 seconds. It's amazing. And those quests are mainly like, there's a ton of them in the northern area of Draumheim around kind of the Headfell Farms and also the Feck Overlook. There are some really brilliant sort of insta pickup quests there that I highly advise checking out. But I do have a similar rule when it comes to those additional quests, and it's if they can be completed in under 2.5 minutes, I will pick them up and do them. You kind of have to, you know, work out in your head whether or not you're going to be able to do them in that amount of time. But if you feel like it's going to take more than about 2.5 minutes, then just literally power on to the next quest. Just ignore it. You know, those are just the side quests that you pick up. They're definitely not needed to reach max level, but you know, it's just kind of a general rule of thumb. If you think it's something that's going to be easy to do, pick it up and do it, because it will probably be worth your while. However, there are a ton of really annoying quests. Also, just a bit of a pro tip at Gas Station Mem, and also where is it, Gas Station Roche. There's also a gas station in Tarkin Glacier, but I didn't bother going there much. There are essentially daily quests to play Manugu. This requires just clicking on a few stations, and they're really quick and easy to do, and they will give you like the majority of experience that a story quest will. Now, another thing that I kind of want to just quickly throw out there is that basically the XP difference between Gaboru, like the starting zone, and for example Tarkin Glacier is like 10-15%. So you really do want to bleed out Gaboru as much as you can, because the mobs here are so easy. Literally, you can just tear through a ton of them at once. Most specs and classes won't have a problem pulling kind of like 5 to 10 plus mobs in Gaboru and just AoEing them all down really easily. When you get to Draumheim, that becomes a bit harder, but when you get to Tarkin, you can barely pull more than kind of 2 or 3 mobs without dying, even in some of the best solo specs in the game. So it's really difficult. That's why another reason I just highly suggest avoiding Tarkin at all cost, because it really is a lot more difficult, a lot more time consuming, and a lot more punishing than any of the other zones. So that's pretty much it for the guide, guys. Essentially, bleed out Gaboru and Draumheim as much as you can in terms of Carnage story quest and easy additional quests, and don't enter Tarkin. Have the experience vials on if you want to do it quickly. If you don't want to do it quickly or can't afford the experience vials, unfortunately, you are going to have to do all of the zones, or, you know, for a bit of PvP, maybe instant adventure, maybe a dungeon, you know, you can throw additional stuff into the mix. Zone events as well. There's tons of stuff you can do to kind of get that additional XP, so it's not the end of the world. If you're not using a vial, you just need to, you know, do more stuff, because it's going to take a bit longer. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the video guide. I hope you enjoyed it and learned maybe a thing or two about leveling in Nightmare Tide. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will be happy to answer what I can. Take care and have an absolutely great day, guys.